lovely little honey here. It says it's Model 4 on the top. And then if you look at the bottom, a Model 3. So, you know, well, the first thing we'll probably have to do is figure out what we got here. But so this one here was sold by a gentleman. The same gentleman that was selling this. And I did a bundle deal on these two machines. Anyway, it was going dirt cheap. I knew it wasn't going to be working machine for the price it was going for. But the screen appears to be intact, but you don't know till you try it. The keys are all here. It has these two half-height drives in it instead of the full height that it should have. But because it has a blank here, I'm really thinking this was probably originally a cassette model. And then somebody took the blank out and tried to put a couple of half-height drives in here. So there was a sign on it. It said, yeah, a Variac on it. Didn't really recognize what that was at first, but I'm thinking, he asked me later and then it clicked in my mind if I understood what that was. And so, oh, that's one of those variable deals where you can turn the electricity up or down. I said, yes. So anyway, he ran it on a Variac at up to 90 volts and never heard any high voltage. So when I got home, I decided I would try to open it up without breaking the neck of the monitor. Such a common thing to do, taking these apart, is you catch the neck on a wire or something in the back and break the neck on the CRT, and that's the end of that. Anyway, I lifted it apart very carefully, and thankfully I didn't break it that time. And lo and behold, nothing is connected in here. Nothing. So somebody had this all apart, and then somebody just scooped it all back together and got rid of it. So maybe, I think that's a long shot, that the only reason it was disassembled was to put these drives in. I mean, it could have been. All the screws are already removed. So disassembling would be a matter of lifting the top off. Feel any resistance at all, we'll just start over. Okay, so like I said, there's nothing connected in here. Here is this. The analog board, the control board for the CRT is in place. I don't see any major issues with it that just pop out of nowhere. So, like I say, nothing is connected. Well, I guess there's some things that are connected. Looks like the power supply still has a few connections to the motherboard in place right here. So that's your power supply right there. I do see that it has a couple of RIFAs on it. We're going to want to get rid of those before we do anything else. There was a Lipton instant iced tea lid right here when I opened it up first time. I saw no reason to reassemble that. So this is the half-height drives that are just sitting in here. So yeah, both of those are just sitting there. Another thing I noticed here that we might want to address is the pots here for adjusting the screen. They have almost no motion. So spray some deoxit in there, see if we can get them loosened up. I'll do that right now. My wife was going to message me when our grocery order was on its way or whatever, so I may have to break off here a second. Another thing, so we'll just let those soak a while. The keyboard is not connected, so that can just lift right off. So that's easy. Got our power switch right there. Seems to work. Seems to move. I was doing some looking through the manual, and the Model 4 had an option for a soundboard. And this looks like a soundboard to me. So that leans towards Model 4. So we got lots of things to try to test and fix and everything else. But I figure we're this far down already. Let's go ahead. We'll get it all apart. We'll work on the power supply. We'll clean it all up. Get all this dirt out of it. We'll get it all cleaned up like it's supposed to work and everything. Then we can try to figure out how it goes back together. And I believe the only thing we have to connect to the... Well, there might be two things. But I know this connector goes to the analog board. And this here connects to the power supply and provides a Molex connector for a drive, I would imagine. We only have one Molex connector for a drive. So I guess we would need a splitter if we're going to use both of these. I'm thinking about putting the GoTech in it, and we put that in the top. Or we could just put the GoTech in the bottom slot, leave the blank in the top, calling it done with that. That's one option. I still find it hard to believe that you would only get such a small amount of adjustment there. So we'll soak them down some more. I almost feel like I get just a little bit more out of this one. Maybe that's all you're supposed to get. I don't know. There, that's that one. So that's your power switch, I guess. Our multicolored dome goes here. Ready? You got a 2-pin, red and black. One go towards the bottom set of pins. Okay, at least that's the way it was. Whether it's right or not, who knows? But that's what it was. And then this one was just laying here, but this one would go in there as well. That one would go in the middle. At this point, I think all we got to do now is get the screws out and we can get that power supply pulled. There we go, there's one. Okay. And we get this last one out. We should be able to get her loose. This is some kind of ground lug, maybe for the keyboard. Here's the power supply. Yeah, so it's got the 0.1 and these two little bitty guys, whatever they are. So that's an X cap. And I can't see well enough to tell what those two are. The glasses. Let's have a look. So, yeah, 2200 picofarad. I think I have some of those. So we just got these 3 RIFAs. Take a look around here. Not seeing where any caps have leaked. Everything else looks like it's okay. Even the RIFAs look like they're okay. We know not to trust them. So, cool. So I guess we can set all this stuff aside and just focus on this. I think at this point we'll go ahead and switch to the overhead camera. So this should be our 0.1 we need. Alright, well I have some 2200 picofarad Y caps, which I don't want to interchange them. So we'll just have to get it off the board and get a closer look at it. fresh solder. There's that. Allegedly. Well, it should be ready to go. Mostly is. Straight. See what's coming out of there now. There it is. So as RIFAs go, this is pretty good shape. 0.1, it's an X cap. Yeah, 0.1 UF. 0.1 microfarad. And of course our replacement fits in the inner two holes instead of the outer ones. So it wouldn't hurt to clean it up a little bit before I just slapped it back together. Yeah, it's like I had thought was the case, but I thought I should check to make sure I didn't have it backwards. So you can safely use a Y cap in place of an X cap, but you can't use an X cap in place of a Y cap. So I do have these 2200 picofarad Y caps here. That was according to allaboutcircuits.com anyway. Yeah, so this is a Y 250 volts, 2200 picofarad. pieces. So what do we do next? I need a short screwdriver. I can get by with this one. This will come out here. This will come out here. Feels like it should go, yet it does not. Okay, so that comes off there. Yeah, that's the last one. So let's see what we got here. We have a 8709296 Rev C from 1983. Is that right? 8320 on the chips. Let me see here. 8405, 8402, 8406. More 84s. So it's at least an 84. 8346, 8343. So I guess this is an 84 computer. I don't see anything newer than 84 in here. Parts from late in 83, early 84. Okay, so this board says 1982 on it. So Model 4 would come with 64K and be expandable to 128. And what do we have here? We got these 8 here, and then empty spots for more. So Motorola 8040665. Let's look into that. Or we could just Google the part number on the board too. Well, when I Google that, I actually got Model 4 motherboard, Rev C 64K. So it's a Model 4, according to the part number on the motherboard. So we'll quit wondering if it's a 3 or a 4, because it's 4. So I think it's kind of like what I was saying here. You got 64K RAM here and expandable to 128. So as far as I know, there's nothing the Model 3 can do that the Model 4 cannot. And the Model 4 can do Model 4 things while the Model 3 cannot. So very cool. So looking at this board here now, moving away from the identification phase to the is anything broken phase of my inspection, I'm not noticing any burnt capacitors or anything of the like here. Well, it all looks real good actually. So it does have some electrolytic caps on it. They don't appear to be leaking, so they're probably still good. Maybe, hopefully. I think I'm going to take it outside, just blow it off, and kind of brush at it a little bit. I can get all the dirt off, and then I can come in and just kind of touch it up a little bit. Here's the shield from the motherboard. I'll just go ahead and give it a little cleanup here while we get it apart. I got everything all dusted off outside. I just kind of brushed and blew with my air duster at the same time. I got a lot of the really gritty dirt off of it and whatnot. Now it's just a matter of cleaning away the really fine stuff that's still left. Okay, we got 4.6. What about this one? Is this 12? $13. Awesome. So the power supply seems to be working. This trunk over here. Let's see if we can clean up here. Anything. Brown that to that. Alright, she shouldn't be hot. Okay. I didn't expect it to be. It's been some time since it's been used. Just for safety's sake. Just hit it. Okay, next. Pretty well dusted and cleaned it up here. Pretty happy with it. All right, that looks pretty good. That there. Well, let's see what happens. Turn this on. Okay. Okay, well, oh, look at that. briefly had something. Okay. Restaurant screen's working. Computer doesn't seem to be, but the screen is. Oh wow, they're not moving along. They are seized. Okay, let's do this thing. Yeah, so we went from not being able to turn them with a pair of pliers to now you can just roll it with your thumb. It's getting better. It's a little better all the time. So the computer itself doesn't seem to be working yet. That's another project for another day. But hey, we have a power supply and we have a working monitor. I mean, that's progress, right? I'm working on printing a mount for a GoTech until I can get the right drive for this. May later end up moving that GoTech up here. Move this blank one, put the GoTech up here, and then put a proper floppy disk drive down here. That's the plan for now. But at any rate, we are making progress on this. Y'all be good.